Hi guys, my name is Eva Buishin and I was the marketing intern for the Mountworks. My last day at the company is actually this Friday, so I'm trying to get together a list of the things that I have done, and this is one of them. So during this screencast, I will be explaining what I've done, what I've changed to this website, and hopefully you'll agree with me that it has been for the better. I will try to keep it short and sweet, but this is my first screencast, so please bear with me. So when I was first applying to the Mountworks, I went on their website, and of course I wanted to get to know the company a little bit, see what they stand for, and see if we would be a good match. When I go to the home page, so this is the home page and it looks really good. There's a scrolling banner that I really like. It creates movement while also explaining what the company is about. This image that just passed, for example, explains the tech division, aka their cleaning division, and then everything else you can see that the focus is on flooring, which makes sense because this is a B2B company that has dealt with large chains such as Walmart and Target, and they're constantly expanding. So it makes sense that the homepage looks very clean, very professional. There's clearly a color scheme going with the red, the blue, and the purple. It shows the philosophy of the company. It shows how they've reached that philosophy, what values they have stood for. And then it explains the client segments that they go after, and then some case studies of previous things that they have done. So overall, I really like the homepage. I think it's very clean. It's very unified. And then you scroll over to About Us, and if you click here, nothing will happen. So you go down to Core Values. I like this page as well. It has the banner, but it no longer scrolls, which I think is really nice. I like it for the front page because it kind of creates some movement, some excitement, but afterwards you're getting down to business and you really want to get what you want and then leave. So if you go to Core Values, of course, the first thing that will show up is the purpose and why they're in this business, and then it explains some of the key pillars that they try to live up to. So again, very clean, very simple, gives the user what they want while also not wasting their time. Where I found the issues were under our story, why we are different, the Mountworks model, and the team. They're not necessarily issues, but I think they waste the user's time and don't really provide a very unified image. So for the purpose of this screencast, I have added back the tabs for the pages that were here when I started at the company. They're all marked outdated, and the ones that aren't marked outdated are the ones that are currently on the website. So if we go to the first one, Our Story, it carries the color theme a little bit. You got the red going over here in the dots, the blue, the purple, but the font sizes are a bit random. The 1996 is huge. Janitex Founded is kind of big, and then Timeline, even though it's the biggest, the major header is small. Then when you scroll through, you realize that there's all these years to scroll through, and by 1990 you're super bored, right? You don't want to keep going. You don't want to see what's happening in 2016, which would be the most relevant aspect to you. Not to mention that in this version there still isn't a 2016. Another thing with this timeline is that the white background on the images is very apparent, and it looks like it's from the 1990s. Doesn't look very professional on the light blue background. Then you go to 1986 and you have Walmart partnership, and it's just a lot of redundancy and repetition for something that doesn't really give you all that much information. So your user kind of feels like they're wasting their time. Again, it also looks a little too simplistic. There's a bit too much white space going on all around here. It's very left heavy because all the pictures are on the left, and you don't think that there's anything, you know, down under. Everything above the fold is most important, right? But then you end up scrolling down, and again, the white space, look at all this white space, that just isn't attractive. Then you scroll down and you see our history, and of course there's this van that you're like, oh, okay, that's the van, like the first van that this company had. And there's the philosophy again, right, from the core values page. And then you scroll down, and that's where you finally get the history. That's when you realize how this company has started, and it doesn't really look unified. Again, there's this white space over here. It looks like it was purposeful to separate these two sections when in fact it is just one section. So in order to fix this, I thought that putting the timeline and the story, the history, next to each other gives it this equal importance feeling. So here you have our story on the right, and it's very unified. Even without the border, it looks like it is part of the same section. Then there's the timeline, again keeping with the color scheme. You got the purple in the middle, the blue on the right, and the red on the left, just like in the logo. And you no longer have the white background. So we've made the white background of the text box, the contents box, white, meaning that you no longer have to go into Photoshop trying to edit the pictures. Instead, just paste anything you want in there. It makes it very user-friendly to the people that will be updating the website after I leave, which is one of the things that I wanted to do, not only make an impact while I'm there, but also make it a very sustainable impact for when I leave. So this timeline is created on Timeline Stories. I thought it was very nice. It allowed me to add titles. It also allowed me to elaborate on the bottom. But that being in mind, I also didn't want to create the redundancy. So here I just had Walmart partnership instead of Walmart, Walmart, and then Walmart partnership. I just wanted to be very mindful of the space on the screen as well as the user's time. One thing that I did not like about this plugin, I thought it was very user-friendly. I could pick the colors. These are the exact colors from the logo. But what I didn't like was that it didn't actually have this box. I had to code this box into existence. So without this box, this page scrolled for ages. And I thought that containing the timeline makes it more so you can look at 1966, then you scroll down to 1966 and you're like, oh, okay, here's the picture for that. And then it explains 1976, and then you can just kind of scroll down without having to move the right panel too much. What I liked about this text box as well is that it has the same gray from the banner over here. So again, it creates that unity with the colors. When we move on, there were two web pages that I actually combined into one. So when you go to Why We Are Different, it explains that a lot of the employees have remained with the company for 20 years. So it shows that they're very expert in their field, and it also shows that that is why they've had such success. But it makes the user have to figure that out on their own. It also makes the user have to decipher this image that they've seen for the first time, the MountWorks model, which is then later explained on in the tab that says the MountWorks model. Then you scroll down and there are all these buzzwords at the bottom, but you don't know if the company is striving to be these things, or if it has won awards in being these things, or why does this even matter? So the biggest issue with this webpage that I had was the why. Why does it matter that you have 20 years? Yeah, you can think about it and you can be like, okay, so they're expert and so they know what they're doing, but that makes the user have to work. So that's what I didn't like about this webpage. And then the MathWorks model, again, there is these two explanations over here, but there's no title for it, right? So you don't know, is this the MathWorks model? Is this the MathWorks model? But then you go down and then you see MathWorks consolidated model, and having the title at the bottom of the page is also very counterintuitive. So you have to scroll down and you look at these pictures and you're like, okay, or at least I was when I was looking at this. So I read this and then I scroll down and then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, wait. But then there was something else that they said over here. Let me look up again. Okay, now let me look back at the picture. So there's a lot of scrolling going on over here. I think it's very topsy-turvy. I think that the title over here should be at the top of the page. That's where titles usually go. So that is what I did not particularly enjoy about this web page. I combined them into why we are different. I think that highlights more specifically what both of those pages were trying to say. So I started with our strengths. So this is what we believe we are strong in. This is why you should hire us, because we are entrepreneurial, we are operationally skillful. And then you scroll down and it explains why you are skillful and service focused. You're able to be innovative because of this model. This model creates synergy. So it explains how the synergy was created. 20 years, right? You're an expert. You become an expert in the field. And then it gives you the images. You kind of look at the images. And then when you scroll down, you can see the text explaining the images. So it gives you an overview. These are our strengths. These are why we have these strengths. And then finally, this is how we compare to the competition. This is what makes us better, and this is why you should pick us. So that was the biggest change that I made. Then at the end, there was the team. The team page I really had no issue with. I just thought that I could make it a bit more personable. There's all these explanations and the names, and you can go look them up on LinkedIn. But really, like, I don't feel any connection towards this text. If I see a person's face, I would feel more of a connection. It's the humanity in us, and that just helps. So what I did was I used another plugin called Our Team, and I put in pictures. The chairman's picture isn't in there because he has never been a computer person. He founded this company, so he really did not need LinkedIn. I mean, he had a job. He created his own job. So he doesn't really have an online presence, and he did not want one. But everyone else was very willing to take pictures. For example, these two are pictures that I took. I tried keeping everything very similar. So I like the blue background that relates to our logo. Believe it or not, these are actually taken on white backgrounds, and I have made the blue background using Lightroom. And then some of the pictures, for example, this was from LinkedIn, but it still fits in with this theme very well. And then there are other people who are either in another office or are just simply so busy that they don't have the time to really take a picture. So what I also tried to maintain again was the color scheme. You got the purple going on here with the logo, and then you got the blue. In my opinion, I tried not using too much red because I think it's aggressive. There have actually been studies where red is aggressive and you don't really want to look at red for too long, but blue, you like to look at blue, which is why you're constantly on social media, because it's blue, and that's how they lured you into that. But speaking of social media, I wanted to put LinkedIn pictures or icons at the bottom that would link to everyone's webpage, whoever had a LinkedIn, because I know that when I was looking up these people and trying to find them online, especially without their pictures, I wasn't really sure that I was looking at the right person. And I think, again, this just helps the user. It becomes more user-friendly, and I think that that's the most important thing in a website, because the whole point is to welcome them to your company and to make them acquainted with you and want to do business with you. The rest of them, the rest of the pages are pretty good. The service solutions, I think, is very cool. It was changed by a marketing company contractor that actually made this webpage, and I don't know, I think it's very nice. It's very, again, the colors, and this is kind of what I was trying to keep the About Us going, have the colors, have the unity and all that. So for product solutions, there weren't a lot of changes. We added the download spec sheets here so that you don't have to click on the image and then right click and save the image, or to screenshot, or whatever you want to do. Plus, this quality is not all that great because it's not intended to be saved. So we're updating the spec sheets. This is outdated, and it will be uploaded tomorrow, as well as this will be removed, and these will be brought up so that, again, it removes the blank space, keeps everything important above the fold, and makes it really user-friendly. So that's basically what I have been doing with this website over my time, during my time at the Mountworks. I didn't quite get a chance to fix everything. For example, this blank space over here under the menu tab still drives me insane, but it's been quite a hectic internship, and I've loved it, but also not a lot of free time to really nitpick at all the little things that get under your skin. But overall, I think that the new web pages look much better, very user-friendly, and continue the color scheme. So that's all for now, and I look forward to speaking to you guys again at my next screencast.